Welcome to the Scott Townsend Show, brought to you by Dietzo Man Productions.
We know what the paint looks like on the walls. They don't know anything about what's going on in the
As a matter of
inside.
fact, you have so much business at your drive-thru that you have 2 drive-thru windows.
Right, 2 drive-through windows. So 70% of the folks come through that window, and
Well, we need a third.
Well, maybe so. Who knows? Who knows about that? So I say that because my son, he's been on me. Now he's usually right. Unfortunately, he's a little bit more of a thinker than I am. He says Dad, the next big thing is going to be shipping donuts. I said, shipping donuts. The first thing I can think of when I think of that is some hard freaking work right there.
Hey, this is Scott Townsend. Thanks for joining the Scott Townsend Show. And today I have with me Mark McKinnon on the series 57 Things I Would Tell My Younger Self. Mark, how's it going?
It's going great today.
We've done this for more than several weeks. We may be into the 10th one. I'm not sure. I should check that out. And I say that every time. Mark picked number 21. I had him pick a number between 1 and 57 on these 57 pieces of advice that would tell my 20-year-old self. And 21 was the number. And 21 is spend more time creating and less time consuming. Why did I write that? Because you can spend so much time looking at other people's art. You can spend so much time looking at other people's work. There's a lot of books to read. There's a lot of TV shows to watch, a lot of movies to watch, a lot of things to consume. But I believe we've been put on this earth to create more than we consume. Let's just say it's okay to consume stuff. It's okay to watch TV or watch movies or look at art or sculpture or enjoy the fruits of someone's invention. But at some point we have to make our own we have to create, and we have to apply ourselves, whether you're going to make a new medical invention, if you're a writer, if you're a talk show host, if you're a truck driver. It's time to, I would tell my younger self, be more creative and less time consuming other people's work. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, you can spend all your time reading other people's books.
Sure.
But at some point, you should try something on your own, or you should write your own book. So creating, make something, do something, instead of just we're just consumers. Really, is all we are. Put paint to paper, pencil to paper. Draw, create something, because we've all been created to create.
I mean, isn't it a safe thing to say this, maybe, Scott, that if you live your life as nothing but a consumer, you're kind of lazy? I really believe that, because all you're doing is sitting around, like you said, reading somebody else's writing, watching television, going to the movies, playing games. So you're right. We were created to add to society, not to just become part of society. And so it's important for us to create. I like the idea of creating. One of the reasons that I started my own podcast, and we're going to create it together. You're going to help me do some of the stuff we're going to do, and I started doing by Facebook Live, is because I can give back to somebody else from what I've learned. And why should I only listen to other people's opinions and ideas when I have some ideas and some perspectives of my own? It takes all of us to make the world go round. It really does. My perspective is not the same as yours, and yours is good, but I've got something good too. I've got to value myself, and so if I'm not a creative person, I'm basically saying I have nothing to offer. That's not true.
We're all creative people.
Sure we are.
I would never have started a donut shop.
Right. Right.
You started a donut shop.
Sure, absolutely.
That's creative. You take something,
right.
You make something out of nothing.
Right.
Employ people who are otherwise not employed by you.
Right.
Making stuff, gaining customers, tweaking it, massaging it. It's your creation, and you continue to mold it and shape it, and
sure.
make it bigger, faster, cheaper, more efficient.
Yeah, creativity's important, and it's amazing how we start out creating. Right, children. Let's go into a children's classroom where one of the beginning things always is art, right, or music.
Right.
And it's not how well they play the instrument or how well they draw.
Right.
It's the fact that they're creating. And so that's born in us to do that. And then as we get older, we stop creating. We start consuming, like you said. And so creativity is supposed to be part of my life from my first breath till my last breath. Isn't that true?
So if you put a kid on the floor,
yeah,
a kindergartner,
yeah,
and you put a blank piece of paper in front of them and a box of crayons,
yeah,
I guarantee they're going to pick up a color. They're going to push it across the paper, and they're going to draw a dog or a tree or the sun. And chances are it's not going to be what you and I would think of as a dog or a tree or the sun. But they don't know that. Hey, draw a picture of a house. And, they do because they think they can.
Right.
What happens is we judge their stuff. No, that's not. So they try again. No, that's not. And so we just judge them out of thinking. And so then when you hand an adult, the average adult, a sheet of white paper and some crayons, you've heard it so many times. I can't even draw a stick figure, They've been talked totally out of it. True. And I always say, yes, you can. Oh, no, I can't. Yes, you can draw a stick figure. And as a matter of fact, you can probably draw a pretty good stick figure. As a matter of fact, you could probably, so
sure.
We just, we unfortunately, when we're trying to teach, really what we do is we judge and we talk them out of just being creative. They don't,
We're really talking about you can't talk about creativity without talking about imagination. So what we're really doing, when, like you said, when we tell them it's not up to par, is we're telling them that they don't need to imagine anything. Don't bother spending your time doing that because you don't know what you're thinking about, right? And think if someone had told Walt Disney that. I remember the story where Walt Disney he took Art Linkletter, and they went to the piece of property that now is Disneyland, and so he got him and he walked him out on the land, and he wanted to get investors, and so he said to Art, Art, I want to create a theme park, and so he began to tell him what was going to be over here, what was going to be over there, what was going to happen over here. What was he using? His imagination to create something. And Art Linkletter said, that'll never work. He said that's because he had no imagination.
He couldn't
see it. He couldn't see that. So and Art Linkletter was successful in his own mind, right? But not in that area.
Right.
So the truth is that everybody's created with their own imagination, their own ability to see something that someone else can't see. Like you said, I got a donut shop. You're not creative. You can't see donuts like I can. I see donuts and I begin to visualize what I want to do with them because I have an imagination for what it should look like.
Right.
So how many things have we missed out on in life that we could be enjoying as a society because we stunted someone's creativity or their imagination?
Right. Hey, this is the Scott Townsend Show. Thanks for joining us, and we'll be back right after this. Pop's Daylight Donuts, man, they've got the best tasting donuts, sausage wraps, pastries in Northeast Oklahoma. And also, if you'll tell the staff there, hey, Scott Townsend said to give me a large spicy pig, they'll give you a free large spicy sausage wrap. But you have to tell them Scott Townsend sent you. So tell them, hey, Scott Townsend told me to tell you to give me a large spicy pig. So there's the offer. There's the call to action. So go to Pop's Daylight Donuts. Say hi to Mark for me. And go to Pop's Daylight Donuts and get you some. The other sponsor is Castafly Outdoor Adventures.
Adventure. That's where it begins. We look to create and document our moments in time while embracing the majestic wonder and beauty of the great outdoors. Our quest is to explore the back roads of the Ozarks, camping, fishing, and just getting lost. Refresh your spirit and join us on our next adventure.
Paul and his crew invite you to subscribe to the Castafly Outdoor Adventures YouTube channel.
The go-to story about that, of course, for me is McDonald's. When their think group got together and decided, okay, so we're going to create a drive-through window. I read the article. When they did it, and everybody said, no one is going to drive up to a window and order their food. Okay. So billions and billions of dollars later.
Yeah, and hamburgers.
And hamburgers later, McDonald's was right and the world was wrong.
Yeah.
If they would have listened to the world, they would have never created the drive-through window. And I'm thinking, at my business, 70% of people who come to my shop never come inside my shop. They never come inside the doors. They've never even been. They don't even know what the paint looks like on the walls. They don't know anything about what's going on the inside.
As a matter of fact, you have so much business at your drive-through that you have 2 drive-through windows.
Right, 2 drive-through windows. So 70% of the folks come through that window, and
probably need a third.
Well, maybe so. Who knows? Who knows about that? So I say that because my son, he's been on me. Now he's usually right. Unfortunately, he's a little bit more of a thinker than I am about certain. He says the next big thing is going to be shipping donuts. I said shipping donuts. The first thing I can think of when I think of that is some hard freaking work right there. How am I going to be able to take a donut, keep it fresh enough to be shipped across the country?
You should take a donut and just mail it to him. Say, okay, this is my first try.
Yeah, that's a good idea, Scott. What do you think?
Yeah.
How did it work out for you?
How was it on your end?
How was it down there?
You should do that. You really should.
Oh, man. Just put it
in a shoebox.
But that's how things start, right?
Yeah.
I mean, whoever thought you were going to get flowers delivered by UPS?
Right.
Right? Somebody thought that up, and now it's an everyday occurrence, right? You know what I mean?
Well, you got DoorDash, you got Uber Eats, you got Grubhub, you got all these places delivering food locally. But he's probably talking about from state to state.
Yeah, that's what he's talking about. He's talking about, Dad, there's people who love your product, they love your design, what you're doing. People ask me all the time, could I get some of your dad's donuts? And I think, all I can see is work. Do I really want to work at doing this? But still, creativity. Someone's going to do it.
Mm.
Someone's going to say, okay, I'm going to make the time, invest the effort, invest the money, and I'm going to make this happen. The guy who does that's going to get rich. I can tell you right now.
Well, I've had too many instances where I've had a good idea, and that's a good idea, and you don't do anything about it, and then you see someone else do it. Someone else that you don't even know. You hear someone saying or doing something that
you thought of.
And
or thought about anyway.
Sat on it.
Sure.
So in conclusion, it's very important to create rather than to just spend all your time consuming. That's good for anything that you're doing. You can sit around eating all day long consuming, or you can spend your time in other pursuits. America's
cook your own food. Cook your own meal. Get your own concoction. Yeah.
Make your own. Design your own. Whatever. Design your diet. Create. Yeah. Less consuming. So, I mean, I think we've...
Yeah, I think that's a great topic. I think so. So I guess my job is to always encourage creativity in my family, my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren when it comes time, and because we need creators. We need them all.
And we're all creators.
So we need them. We need to encourage people.
And there's things that you can do to practice enhancing your imagination. We won't go into that right now.
Okay.
Maybe I can put that in the show notes below.
That'd be great.
But things that people can do to strengthen their imagination, especially if they haven't, been told that it's worthless and not worth the time. But, anyway,
that's
okay.
good, Scott. That's good.
All right, for Mark McKinnon, this is Scott Townsend. Thanks for joining the Scott Townsend Show. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you later.
The Scott Townsend Show is a Dito Man production. For more episodes, visit the Scott Townsend Show YouTube channel, listen on Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.